Chief Whip of the House of Representatives. We welcome him and other members of the House of Representatives who have joined us here today. We welcome the Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Alihu, as well as Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Alhaji Isa Ali Pantami is the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Technology. His Excellency Chief Timipre Silva, Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources. We welcome every other minister or minister of state who are here today joining us. Your Excellencies, ambassadors of nations, we welcome you. Former governors of Borno State who are here present, one of them I recognize as a senator. All former deputy governors of Borno State or any other neighboring state who is here present, we welcome you. We welcome Mr. Alkali Baba Usman, Inspector General of Police. We welcome and acknowledge your presence here this afternoon. Right Honorable Abdul Karim Lawan, Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, and other members of the House, we welcome and salute you. Of course, welcome all the chairman of the board of the NNPC, distinguished Senator Madri Chuba Kadibo, and all other members of the board. We also welcome the chairman of the board of NUPRC. We welcome every other head of parastatals of the Prime Minister of Petroleum Resources and of Power and of every other ministry that is here today. Dr. Meleko Lokiari, OFRF NAPE, GCEO, NNPC Limited, and members of the top management of the NNPC, we acknowledge and welcome your presence. We welcome the presence of the Deputy National Chairman of the APC and other party chieftains who are here today. We acknowledge your presence, the Secretary to the Borno State Government and other members of the State Executive Council, Managing Directors of companies, captains of industries, sons and daughters of Borno State, distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, ladies and gentlemen. The late American author and poet Maya Angelou, in her poem Still I Rise, said, and I quote, "You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like life, I rise." End of quote. Maiduguri was shot with hateful words. Her electricity was cut by enemies of progress, and businesses that depended on electricity were killed. Alas, like life, Maiduguri has arisen from the darkness of insurgents' attack. This resurrection was made possible by the leadership of Mr. President himself and the commitment to growth and development of Nigeria and her people by the board and management of NNPC Limited. And therefore, Your Excellencies, Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all as in my capacity as Master of Ceremonies to the Maiduguri Emergency Power Project Presidential Commission here in Maiduguri, Borno State. My name is Richmond Osuji. We'll begin the event with a short 5-minute video that gives us a bit of an in-depth look as to why we are here and what the Maiduguri people are expecting from this. That will be followed by an overview from the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, then a remarks by the Chairman of the Board, a remarks by the Governor of the State, and His Excellency the President will address us. He will then proceed to do the project commissioning, at which time I will announce those that will be joining him, and every other person will be requested to kindly remain seated in the room as we will be streaming all he will do over there on the screens. On this note, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please keep your eyes on the screens behind me as we take you on this 5 short minutes journey. I'll be back.
City northeast of Nigeria was thrown into darkness. No thanks to the unwholesome acts of vandals and persistent attacks by insurgents on the city's critical power supply infrastructure. The city and its environs were fast degenerating into perpetual power outages in a city known for its relatively severe weather. Such consistent blackouts were for the residents becoming unbearable by the day and uncomfortable by night. By extension, the city became even tougher for the residents, and sources of livelihood were adversely affected. 2 major incidences of such unfortunate attacks were the destruction of 3 towers of electricity power lines along the Damaturu-Maiduguri road by the insurgents on January 25th and March 27, 2021. It therefore came as a huge respite for the residents when in April 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari intervened, directing the management of NNPC Limited to restore power supply to the city of Maiduguri and its environs. The power generation project is aimed at providing reliable and sustainable electricity to the city of Maiduguri and its environs. The project is expected to improve economic activities within the area. It is part of the federal government's efforts at deepening gas utilization in the country's domestic markets. With 2021 to 2030 declared as a decade of gas, the MEP projects will be a significant addition to the many initiatives aimed at ensuring gas utilization and entry into the domestic markets. The project therefore provides NNPC Limited with the opportunity to advance the federal government's domestic gas utilization master plan while supporting both the power industry, the Borno State government, and other stakeholders through the provision of sustainable gas-based projects and programs. Without doubt, this is a huge investment which further enhances the attainment of NNPC Limited's gas, power, and new energies aspiration to inject circa 5 gigawatts into the national power generation by 2024. It also consolidates on the current administration's giant strides towards improving national power generation for the socio-economic well-being of Nigerians. Although an emergency intervention, the MEP project followed laid-down standards, processes, and procedures. First, after a successful mobilization of personnel and equipment, the NNPC Limited held a historic groundbreaking ceremony for the project here in Maiduguri on the 30th of September 2021. To further set the project in motion, the Ministry of Power, under the leadership of Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu, on 25th of November 2022, issued a 50-megawatt power generating license to the NNPC Limited through the NNPC Gas and Power Investment Services, one of its business units. All these processes culminated into what we are gathered to witness here today, which is the successful implementation of a gas-fired project to the point of commissioning. Thus, the start of the MEP project in Maiduguri today heralds a new business era for NNPC Limited, which targets the Nigerian on-grid and off-grid captive markets to ensure that energy and value is provided for Nigerians and other stakeholders. The modular design GETM 2500 power generation plant is co-located with a virtual natural gas pipeline facility and mobile power units with some flexibility to run on dual fuel. Considering the emergency nature of the projects, engagements were held with a number of stakeholders, which include the Borno State government, the China Machinery Engineering Company, General Electric, security agencies, and of course, the good people of Maiduguri, with power increasingly becoming an essential part of the lives of the citizenry. Today's significant event would, no doubt, change the livelihoods and indeed the narrative around Maiduguri city and by extension, the entire Borno state. For Maiduguri, a city that shares a significant part of its rich political history with President Muhammadu Buhari, this is a proud moment as Mr. President steps in to cut the tape and mark this significant milestone. There is a renewed hope and optimism all over Maiduguri, and this is not unfounded because here is a project that will not only restore power supply into Maiduguri, but will usher in a new era of progress and prosperity for the entire people of Maiduguri and Borno states.
Indeed, he's offering in a new era for the people of Maiduguri and leading the charge of the management that has delivered this on the directives and guidance of Mr. President. I'd like to welcome this man who truly is leading this company into a great big future, but he likes us to stay modest about his accomplishments. Please put your hands together and welcome with me Group Chief Executive Officer NNPC Limited, Malam Mele Kolokiari, OFR FMAP.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Your Excellency, Mr. President, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, sir, I seek your kind permission to respectfully recognize our national leaders and other distinguished men and women that are here to witness the presidential commissioning of another milestone project of your transformative administration. It is therefore my honor and privilege to welcome you, Mr. President, and to recognize the presence of the Executive Governor of Borno State, our Vice President-elect, Honorable Ministers of Power, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, and other ministers, His Royal Highness, the Shehu of Borno, and all other Royal Highnesses, Chairman and members of Board of Directors of the NNPC Limited, energy industry leaders, very numerous invited guests, members of the press, members of the National Assembly, both current and elected, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is not wrong to say that after the long night that befell the people of this region, today we are honored to have Mr. President bring back more power to the largest city in the Northeast. On your directive, Mr. President, a 32 megawatts gas-powered power plant was designed and built in 16 months, and this is unprecedented, and has been successfully test run and confirmed ready for commissioning by Mr. President. The Maiduguri emergency power project will be scaled up to 50 megawatts very shortly. This is the first thermal plant of this scale in the whole of the Northeast, and I was shortly corrected, actually the whole of Northern Nigeria. Even more, Your Excellency, the interventions of the Ministry of Power has restored the traditional 330 kVA line feeding Maiduguri and provided another redundancy of 33 kVA line from Damaturu to Maiduguri. The combined effects of the Maiduguri emergency power project and the emplacement of the transmission lines makes Maiduguri the most sufficiently provided capital city in the country today. And obviously, it is a new power hub in the region. We may very soon see power exports to neighboring countries from Maiduguri. Mr. President, as a commercial enterprise, NNPC sees these projects as an opportunity to monetize our abundant natural resource by expanding access to energy to support economic growth, industrialization, and job creation across the country. Maiduguri has been the commercial nerve center of the Northeast for more than a century. It represents a huge market due to its demographic advantage and geographical accessibility to sub-regional markets, including the republics of Niger, Chad, Central African Republic, Sudan, and Mali, and many more. Despite these huge opportunities, energy poverty has continued to restrain business communities in Maiduguri and its environment from expanding their market frontiers to achieve their full potentials. We see the opportunity for rapid economic growth only to be suppressed by power transmission constraints and insurgent-triggered system collapses. We know that expanding access to energy will change the game. It will create a better investment climate and promote balanced economic growth, a win-win situation for the nation and to the NNPC as a commercial energy company. This project has provided an opportunity to advance federal government's domestic gas utilization mandate while supporting the power industry, the government of Borno State, and other stakeholders to achieve sustainable energy supply. The commissioning of the Maiduguri emergency power plant by Mr. President will open a new chapter of NNPC's commercial energy portfolio across both on-grid and off-grid captive markets. To ensure sustainable operations, the power plant is equipped with a natural gas system that will be fed from LNG supplies. Your Excellency, Mr. President, this project is a giant step towards achieving NNPC's gas and power mandate to add 50 gigawatts into the national grid generation by 2024. We are completely aligned with this. Currently, Mr. President, NNPC and her partners are delivering about 800 megawatts to the national grid from AFAM 2, AFAM 6, and Okpai Phase 1 thermal plants, with combined installed capacity of over 1,100 megawatts. We have also completed Okpai Phase 2 project that will add up to 320 megawatts of power to the national grid. And we are also progressing with other power plant projects across the country, including those along the corridors of the AKK pipeline route. For this worthy cause, Mr. President, NNPC wishes to appreciate the collaboration and support of stakeholders, including the Ministry of Power, other relevant agencies such as the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Yola Electricity Distribution Company, and the Maiduguri host community, of course. NNPC appreciates the kind support of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Bahana Zandak Umar Zulum, in achieving this historic milestone. Once again, Mr. President, I thank you for the visionary leadership encouragement and support that the NNPC had. And of course, by a wider scale, the entire oil and gas industry will remain eternally grateful to you, Mr. President, for your numerous lasting legacies your administration has bequeathed to our great nation. This will remain one of your lasting legacies, Mr. President, to which the good people of Yerowa, not Maiduguri, will be eternally grateful. Thank you, and God bless you, Mr. President, and our great nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the committed and patriotic Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC, Malamele Kolukiari, walking us through what the NNPC Limited is doing in achieving aspirations to inject about 5 gigawatts into the national grid by 2024. A lot of laudable steps that they've taken in that direction, and full of commendations for the leadership and guidance of Mr. President. Can we please give him another round of applause? An excellent management team is enabled and guided properly by a highly skilled and proficient board members. To talk to us now on behalf of the members of the board of the NNPC, please join me in welcoming our chairman of the board, the distinguished Senator Marjorie Chuba Okadibo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Your Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our Vice President-elect, Senator Shetima, our host Governor, Professor Zulum, and to everybody who is here with us today. Today I'm wearing 2 caps, as you can see. I'm wearing the cap of the adopted daughter of Borno State to say welcome to everybody to Borno State and to thank Mr. President for giving us this gigantic project here in Borno State. We are so grateful, Mr. President, and I want to thank you on behalf of everybody, especially my siblings in Borno State, for giving us this light. Thank you, Mr. President. And then on the second cap that I wear, which is the chairman, board, and management of NNPC Limited, we're not joking at NNPC when we say we are here to give you energy. We are here to give you energy for today, energy for tomorrow, and energy for the future. And we're already showing that. We're showing that we're not here for child's play. It's business. And on behalf of the board and management of NNPC, I pledge that for the 200 million Nigerians that we represent, we will do our best and Nigerians will be happier and better for it. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Of course, pledging the commitment of the board to continue to support and empower the agenda of the management in delivering value to the over 200 million shareholders of the NNPC Limited. Can we please give our chair another round of applause? Your Excellencies, Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I drove around the city of Borno yesterday upon arriving this beautiful, city of Maiduguri rather, upon arriving this beautiful state of Borno, I was greeted with a lot of excitement of young people who are delighted about the work of this next speaker. They say he has their great interest at heart and has continued to demonstrate that with the laudable projects that he's been putting in place for them, from the roads to the hospitals to the schools and to the different social impact programs that he's been creating for his people. And therefore delighted to welcome him to address us at this time. His Excellency, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, CON FNSA, Executive Governor of Borno State.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, the Vice President-elect, distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima, members of the National Assembly that are here, ministers, Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, Mele Kolokari, sorry, the Chairman of NNPC, my sister, other invited guests here, Assalamu alaikum. With profound gratitude to Almighty Allah for His bountiful mercies in allowing us to witness yet another historic occasion of the state visit of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to Borno State. I have the honor and rare privilege to once again welcome our august visitor and distinguished members of his entourage to our dear state. We are indeed highly gratified by the visit of Mr. President, as it bestows on us yet another opportunity to show the world our renowned tradition of hospitality and some of our achievements under the present democratic dispensation. To this end, Mr. President has met with cross-section of our people and had graciously inspected and commissioned some of our numerous laudable projects. These include the dualized roads at Shehu Sandakura, Magaram Road, Lafia Road, Amadou Bello Way and Bolori Market Road. Others are the Monday Market, Modern Market and Bus Terminal along Bama Road, Maiduguri, as well as residential quarters at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, which was built by the Borno State government for the medical doctors as part of our intervention. Mr. President, let me also thank you for the construction of the cancer and kidney extension centers built and equipped by the federal government of Nigeria under your distinguished leadership, which were just commissioned by your humble self in addition to the numerous gigantic projects undertaken by your administration in the hospital. I want to commend the Federal Ministry of Health and in particular the Chief Medical Director of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, Professor Ahmed Ahijo, for his selfless service. Mr. President, sir, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and people of Borno State, I would like to first of all thank you and reaffirm our unalloyed loyalty, support and cooperation to the federal government of Nigeria under your able leadership for approving the construction of the 32 megawatts open cycle power plant as part of the 50 megawatt Maiduguri emergency power project, which we are gathered here to commission. This event is indeed another testament that this administration remains committed to tackling power sector problems to guarantee stable, uninterrupted power supply aimed at improving the economy and lifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty, particularly the good people of Borno State. Over the past years, the Boko Haram insurgents had attacked power supply lines along Maiduguri Damaturu and Maiduguri Damboabi roads, leading to complete blackout in the city of Maiduguri and its environs, and crippling the economic activities in the region, as well as throwing thousands of our people into a genital employment. Accordingly, the NNPC, as an enabler of national energy security, intervened through the installation of scalable 50 megawatt gas-fired power plant to help restore reliable power supply to Maiduguri and its environs. Therefore, the joy and appreciation of the good people of Borno State to this benevolence of federal government cannot be overstressed. More so, we wish to sincerely commend the Group Chief Executive Officer NNPC Limited, Malim Mele Kolokari, and all the NNPC project delivery team that worked tirelessly to ensure that the aggressive project timeline was duly realized regardless of the associated challenges associated with a project of this magnitude. Mr. President, we commend all your efforts in this direction and your commitment toward alleviating the plight of Nigerians in the Northeast region, ravaged by the insurgency, worthy of appreciation among other projects and programs identified by Your Excellency's administration in Borno State are 1. Improvement in the security situation in the state as farming activities are now in full force. Construction of 10,000 housing units in Borno State. Establishment of committee for the repatriation and management of repentant Boko Haram members being headed by Mr. Vice President, and subsequent release of 15 billion naira to the committee. Mr. President, so far thousands of our refugees from the republics of Niger, Chad and Cameroon have been repatriated. The committee will soon resume on the second phase of the repatriation exercise. Support to IDPs in the areas of food and non-food items by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Northeast Development Commission and NEMA. Establishment of Federal Polytechnic in Mongono. Establishment of Army University in Behu. Award of contract for the construction of Jukwangala Road and Bama Banki Road under your Executive Order 7 of 2019 Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme. Provision of unlimited bandwidth connectivity in many institutions by the Ministry of Communication. Training of our children on digital technology by the Ministry of Communication. Establishment of Northeast Development Commission with its headquarters in Maiduguri, amongst others. Mr. President, I must also mention that the government and people of Borno State are in total support of your reform agenda, aimed at addressing the drift in our national economy and to restore our confidence in the capacity of government to bring about the desired transformation in our lives. Indeed, your policies and programs have repositioned our dear country to its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. Today's occasion is also an opportune moment for me to highlight some of the modest achievements made by our administration. I wish to therefore clearly state without any fear of contradiction that we have delivered the dividends of democracy to our people within the available resources at our disposal. We have indeed touched on the lives of our rural dwellers and the urban poor youths, women and children. We have touched on virtually all aspects of life, ranging from the provision of security, healthcare delivery services, functional education, housing, roads and drainage networks to agriculture, empowerment, poverty alleviation and skill acquisitions, among others. Mr. President, sir, the power outbreak at the Maiduguri Monday market, it was deeply sad event which destroyed valuable goods and properties worth over 500 billion. I'm deeply moved by this fire incident because of its huge adverse effect on the economic life of the people who struggle daily to earn a living. I share in the pain and anguish of all hard-working traders who lost their belongings in the unfortunate incident. I'm touched by the large-scale economic losses suffered by the victims of this fire disaster. The state government had assisted the victims with the sum of 1 billion naira as an emergency response palliative. I also wish to acknowledge the support of the Northeast Development Commission of about 20,000 bags of rice and other assorted food items in order to cushion the effects of the hardship of the victims. I'm using this opportunity to appeal to the federal government under your distinguished leadership to come to the aid of the victims and indeed support the Borno State government in rebuilding the Maiduguri Monday market. Mr. President, we are most grateful and be rest assured of our continued loyalty and support at all times. Let me also use this opportunity to commend the Nigerian Army, to commend the Nigerian Police Force, and also to commend the TSS and other paramilitary services in Borno State for maintaining peace and order in the state that has enabled us to carry out our job diligently. Mr. President, we are also most grateful to see one of us, Senator Kashim Shettima, emerge as the Vice President-elect under your guidance and leadership. It is my sincere hope that you will be back soon for the plugging up of the drilling of oil rig in Borno State, Your Excellency, sir. Mr. President, we are most grateful And finally, I once again thank Mr. President for the state visit. We wish you all the best. Long live Borno State. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think he deserves another round of applause. Speaking with patriotic passion for all the things he's been putting together for his people. Just before His Excellency speaks, let me make this quick announcement of those that will be going with him for the project commissioning, because once it's done, we're proceeding to that. He will be joined by, of course, the governor, the vice president-elect, the former governors who are in the room, the ministers who are also in the room. They'll be joined by the chief whip of the House of Representatives, Senator Ndume, will also be joining them. Our chairman of the board of the NNPC will be joining. Of course, our GCEO will be there as well. Chairman of the NUPRC board will be there as well. And our CFO will also join. Every other distinguished and eminent person, you have the privilege of seeing all that they're doing outside on the screen, and you will also hear what His Excellency will be saying at that time. At this juncture, I have said, and now I'm on live television, and I will reiterate that every time he has had the opportunity to serve this country within the petroleum ministry, he has delivered infrastructure at different levels. Whether at his time as Federal Commissioner of Petroleum, he delivered numerous infrastructures across the southern part of Nigeria, all which still stand till today. And since his emergence as President and Minister of Petroleum, he had remained consistent in adding value to the oil and gas industry and the Nigerian people. Thanks to him, there are modular refineries operating today in Nigeria that struggled to even receive license to operate before now. Thanks to him, we have gas as our official transition fuel in moving this nation forward in this energy transition conversation. And of course, thanks to him, we're here today to give the people of Maiduguri a huge relief, taking out darkness and restoring light supply in the city of Maiduguri. Your Excellencies, Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding applause befitting a patriot, welcome with me His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Please sit down. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Governor of Borno State, Your Excellency, the Vice President-elect, members of the National Assembly, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Governor of Borno State, Honorable Speaker and members of Borno State House of Assembly, Group Chief Executive Officer in NPC Limited, Your Royal Highnesses and religious leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to be here to commission the Maiduguri Emergency Power Project. This is another testament that our administration remains committed to tackling power sector problems, to guarantee stable uninterrupted power supply aimed at improving the economy and the lives of Nigerians. We have worked hard to fulfill our promise and have succeeded in laying the foundation for a strong, prosperous country through the economic recovery and growth plan. A key execution priority of the economic recovery and growth plan is ensuring national energy sufficiency for our people. The Maiduguri Emergency Power Project is part of an incremental 4,000 megawatts of power generating assets that this administration embarked upon to improve national power supply and stimulate economic growth. The aggressive project strategy deployed to complete this project on schedule is a total reflection of the federal government's sensitivities in identifying and easing the plight of Nigerians, particularly those recovering from the adverse impact of the insurgency in the northeast region. Over the past few years, insurgents had attacked power supply lines along Maiduguri, Damaturu, and Maiduguri, Damboa, Biu roads, leading to acute power supply shortages to the city of Maiduguri and its environs, and crippling the economic activities in the region. For this purposeful response, I want to commend the NNPC Limited, following my directive to ensure immediate restoration of reliable power supply to Maiduguri within the shortest possible time. Let me use this opportunity to thank His Excellency Babagana Umar Zulum for keeping his campaign promises. Earlier today, it was my pleasure to commission A, dualization of Ahmadu Bello Sheikh Hussain Kura Road, Lafia Road, and Mogoram Road. B, ultra-modern market, Bama Road. C, newly constructed staff quarters for University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. And D, newly constructed Bolari Market Road. Your Excellency, I cannot remember the number of projects I commissioned during your first tenure. These laudable projects are impressive. I thank you. And we all acknowledge the excellent work that we have done, working closely with the federal government and other stakeholders to bring back the IDPs and refugees from Cameroon and other neighboring countries. I think the governor deserves another term. I want to assure you, Nigerians, of the federal government's resolve to continue to implement programs, particularly in power sector, that will deepen domestic gas utilization, extend national power generation capacity, revitalize industries, and create multiple jobs for economic growth. Therefore, today, I have the honor to commission another power plant that aimed at improving electricity supply to Nigerian homes, an integral part of the huge successes being recorded by the Presidential Power Initiative. Furthermore, I would like to direct the Ministry of Power and other relevant agencies, namely the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory, Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, Transmission Company of Nigeria, etc., to continue to collaborate with NNPC Limited to ensure that millions of Nigerians access affordable electricity in short term. Finally, I commend NNPC Limited, the government and people of Borno State for this feat. I do hope that the undaunted spirit of the new NNPC Limited will continue to engender affordable energy for all Nigerians, not just for the immediate, but for the years ahead. Thank you for your attention, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
So we'll just take the national anthem, and His Excellency will proceed to the project commissioning. National anthem, please. GP, you may join them, please. Let those I called kindly proceed. As I said, we will be witnessing what is happening out there on the screens behind me, so please just remain seated. Those who are in the marquee outside, please remain seated, and let us watch His Excellency Mr. President commission the project and take a short tour of the project. Can we get a live feed? Technical, please.
The commissioning of the Maiduguri Emergency Power Project was performed by me today. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just can say. Okay. Yes, sir. Switch on the lights. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Switch on the lights. Yes, sorry. Excuse me. Mikey.
This is one job we do.